Hi all. Hi all, this is Monisha, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Dr. S.M.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. Today we are going to see a case study about Python. Interpretive versus compiled languages. Python is an interpretive language. This means that your code is not directly run by a hardware. It is instead passed to a virtual machine, which is just another program that reads and interprets your code. If your code used with plus operations, this would be recognized by the interpreter at runtime, which would then call its own internal function add AB, which would execute the machine code add. This is in contrast to compiled languages where your code is translated into native machine instructions, which are then directly executed by the hardware. Here, the plus operation in your code would be translated directly in add machine code. The advantages of Python are automatic memory management, expressive and syntax that is in English, ease of programming, minimizes development time. Python also has a focus on importing modules, a feature that makes it useful for scientific computing. Disadvantages of Python are interpreted languages are slower than compiled languages. The modules that you are imported are developed in the decentralized manner. This is cost issue based upon individual assumptions. Multi-threading is hard in Python. Versions of Python. There are currently two versions of Python in Python 3. Python 3 is not backward compatible with Python 2. A lot of imported modules were only available in Python 2 for quite some time, leading to a slow adoption of Python 3. However, this is not really an issue anymore. Then the support for Python 2 will end in 2022. There have been end already. There are operators in Python. The first one is arithmetic operator. The arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and power. The Boolean operators are useful when making conditional statements. We will cover these in depth later. And, or, and not. Comparison operators are greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to, is equal to. The break function. There are many type of functions in Python. First one, the break function. The break function is used to terminate a loop. You can use the break function. The break statement breaks out of the innermost enclosing for or while loop. For I in range 1, 10, if I equal to 3, break print 1, print I. Then the continue statement. The break statement will break the program and the continue statement will help you to continue the program. This is used to tell Python statement in current loop block and then to continue to the next iteration of the loop. Then the while loop. The while loop tells the computer to do something conditions is met. It essentially says while this is true, do this. While இப்போ இது ட்ரூவாக இருக்குன்னா then இதை பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லும். When working with the while loop, it is important to remember the nature of various operators. While loop used to break and continue functions in the same way as a for loop. You will use for loop more often than while loop. The for loop is naturally choices for cycling through a list characters in a string, etc. Basically anything of determinant size. The while loop is naturally choices if you are cycling through something such as sequences of numbers and indeterminate number of time until some condition is next. The functions. A function is a block of code which only run when it is called. If it is not called, the function will not be run. They are really useful if we have operations that need to be done repeatedly. That means calculations. Functions must be defined before it is called. In other words, the block of code that makes up the functions must come before the block of code that makes use of the function. Some histories. Matplotlib was originally developed by the neurobiologists in order to emulate aspects of MATLAB software. The Pythonic concept of importing is not utilized by MATLAB, and this is why something called Python Lab called. Debugging is fundamental aspects of coding, and you will be probably spend more time in debugging than actually writing a code. Everyone has to debug. It is nothing to ashamed of. In fact, you should particularly concerned if you write a program that does not display on obvious errors, as it likely means that you are just unaware of them. that's the topic. Thank you for patiently listening to me, and thank you for awaitingly for the next video.